Wokeism is a disease that needs to be removed from the American body politic. Hi, I'm Sammy Gonzalez with Polito-Truth. So many of the issues or problems that we face here as a country is because of wokeism. And wokeism is associated with Democrats and especially progressives. In the Northeast, in New York City in particular, Bill de Blasio came to New York City and said that he's going to be the most progressive mayor New York City's ever had. And what happened? Prior to that, for 20 years, New York City voted Republican as a result of the bad old days of the early 90s during the crack epidemic and us enduring the first African-American mayor, David Dinkins, and he pretty much sucked as mayor. And for 20 years, after a riot that lasted 3 days, New Yorkers said, we had enough. We can't vote for Democrats anymore. And for 20 years, New York City, even though the breakdown of Democrat to Republican is 6-1, they voted for Republican. First one was Rudy Giuliani, then came Mike Bloomberg. And in that time, people forget how bad it was. Because it gotten so good in New York City, we became the safest big city in the world. That was the claim. That was the claim that was made by Rudy Giuliani, who cleaned up Times Square, who took out the mobbed up Fulton Fish Market, who did so many things to clean up the city. And Michael Bloomberg, who was been a Democrat all his life, was smart enough to build on top of that. All right, I'm gonna build what Giuliani started. In comes Bill de Blasio, who's a communist, and says he's going to be the most progressive mayor. And in 8 short years, Bill de Blasio has destroyed New York City. And on top of that, the progressive woke that's taken over our state and has become a one-party state, New York is becoming a cesspool, just like California, just like Michigan. All of them have one thing in common. Democrats, progressive woke policies that are destroying this country, and those same policies are what sits in the White House. Now, you may say that Joe Biden is a moderate. Yeah, Joe Biden may be that, but Joe Biden is all about making money. He's done it for over 40 years. That's what Joe Biden is about. And stick your finger up in the air, that's Joe Biden. Well, what we're left is wokeism that's destroying this country. It's leaving us with open borders. It's leaving us weak in defense. Missiles are being fired by North Korea left and right. China's flying jets over Taiwan. You got Iran saying that they want to build a nuclear weapon, and then you have Russia on the verge of invading the Ukraine. All because there's a weak, incompetent doofus as president in Joe Biden, okay? Who campaigned sitting in his basement, never went outside, and this man gets 80 million votes. Yeah, it was stolen. But we're past that. We're past that. Wokeism is a disease that needs to be excised, that needs to be chemoed, that needs to get radiation out of the American body politic. And it all comes down to one single thing, the one tune that Democrats play that's been playing people for over 50 years, race. I need to tell you, and I've heard people say their grandfathers telling them, yeah, they come around every 2 or 4 years and say, hey, we need to vote out these white from office and all that, because And what happens for the past 50 years? People of color, your kids continues to go to the same cruddy school, because that same cruddy school and those teachers give money to the Democrat Party, and it turns over, and nothing gets improved. But then they come around and say, "Hey, you better watch out for that white supremacist, and I need to protect you from them." And this lie, finally, again, because of COVID, has been demonstrated to people that are out there working and they have no time to pay attention to what's happening in politics, are paying attention, and it started in Virginia. And it started in a lot of places. The two issues that's going to destroy Democrats in the midterms is going to be what kids are being taught in public school and crime. Crime being number one. Here in New York, we've elected a mayor, Eric Adams, who used to be a police officer, and I've been pretty rough on the guy, but he seems to be doing the right things. It's all talk so far, all right? I haven't seen movement yet, but he seems to be going out and doing the things that I've suggested on this channel, namely bringing back the anti-crime unit, cracking down on guns, removing guns off the street. Yeah, Eric, you were against stop and frisk. Maybe you learned your lesson. You're going to have to show me, brother, but my eyes are still on you. And one of the things that he's trying to do is go to Albany to rework the free no bail law, which has destroyed New York. Thank you, Andrew Cuomo. The biggest reason why he should have left office. Forget about that sexual harassment crap. That was the biggest reason him signing a new bail law. And other states do the same thing. But what's worse in New York is that judges aren't allowed to have discretion. And that sets us apart from any other state in the country. And Eric Adams wants the legislature, which is now controlled by progressive woke. New York is a one-party Democrat state. We need to change the bail law. And he's running into a blue wall of progressive woke Democrats that don't want to change anything. Because, hey, it comes down to one thing, right? And the Senate Majority Leader, a woman by the name of Andrea Stewart Cousins, said that, we can't change the law, we can't change the law because it's going to disproportionately affect Black, Latino, poor defendants. She's thinking about criminals. She's advocating for criminals, which is the problem of the progressive woke. They like to care more about criminals than the honest citizens. They love criminals. They like to rub their balls and kiss them and care about them more than the average Joe Schmo six-pack walking down the street. Now, why are that? I don't care why they're that way. That's the way they are. That's the problem with wokeism. And the precursor to wokeism was political correctness. That was out first. You can't think about this and that because then you can be called a racist, a homophobe, an Islamophobe, a chauvinist, and all that. That's coming to an end also. But wokeism, all right? The reason why there's so much going on around the world is because we got the military leaders that were more concerned with wokeism and making our military woke that, hey, Putin sees this, China sees this, Iran sees this, North Korea sees this. Hey, I could pretty much have my way. Because if they're worried about wokeism, they're not ready to fight. And that's our problem. We need to remove wokeism. And I say that as long as the Democrat Party embraces progressive woke policies, you need to stop voting for them. I don't care where you live in this country. I don't care if it's a small rinky-dink town or it's New York City. Stop voting for progressive woke. If they come at you saying, I'm going to be the most progressive, stop. Run away. Tell them, no, I'm not going to vote for you. Because you know what? I've seen what you've done to New York. I've seen what you've done to Chicago. I've seen what you're doing to Los Angeles. I see what you're doing in Philadelphia. And I don't need to vote for that. All right? I want to be safe. All right? So think about this when you go to the polls this midterm. Think about wokeism, and it's a disease there needs to be chemo or radiation out of the American body politic. Think about that and vote right. Hey, if you like this video, hit the like, subscribe, add to others about me. Catch you next time.